1 year after Mac Miller passed, his family shared a letter to his fans on Instagram announcing a new album Mac was recording at the time of his death. It was called Circles, and it was meant to be a companion to his previous album, Swimming. Quote, "Swimming in circles was the concept." I was recently listening to the album again, and I was reminded of this, so I went to find some connections, and what I found was pretty cool. Let's start with Swimming. Swimming was released in 2018, a month before Mac Miller died. In Swimming, Mac Miller talks a lot about his struggle with addiction and mental health. He expresses this through a metaphor about swimming on the first track, Come Back to Earth.
And I was drowning, but now I'm swimming. Too stressful waters to relieve.
When faced with the choice of drowning or swimming, he chooses to swim. It's a nice start to an album, but just as we get this hope, he sinks back down with the final line of the last verse on the song, So It Goes. He says,
My God, it go on and on, just like a circle, I go back round from.
Now remember this line as it will be important later. After singing the chorus one last time, there's this final instrumental finish on the song that just always felt special and unique to me, and I wondered why. After looking up stuff about it, I found it is meant to represent the ascension to heaven, according to this tweet by Mac Miller 10 hours before his death. I thought this was cool because I think that perfectly encapsulates how Circles sounds, kind of just a heavenly reflective landscape. Now let's talk about Circles, Mac Miller's last album. Circles was released after Mac's death, after his producer, John Bryan, finished the production needs for it. Just like Swimming, Circles starts by addressing the album's title.
I cannot be changed, I cannot be changed, no. Trust me, I've tried. I'd stand up right at the start of the line, drawing circles.
Now remember that line? I'll play the last part again.
Just like a circle, I go back round.
This concept ends off Swimming and starts off Circles, thus completing the link between the two albums. Now listening to the lyrics, we can see that despite his attempts to swim to relief, Mac finds himself right where he started, swimming in circles. Moving on, at the end of the first song on Circles, Mac says,
getting pretty late, yeah, and I found it goes around like the hands, I keep counting the time, drawing circles.
He uses a clock's rotating hands to point out the circular nature of each day. He then returns to the same idea on the last track of the album, Once a Day.
Once a day I rise, once a day I fall asleep with you. Once a day I try, but I can't find a single word.
The idea of Circles is given one last time as the music fades out. But wait, that doesn't feel complete, does it? Take another listen. The last chord on the album feels off, kind of leaves you hanging or feels incomplete. There's a technical reason for this. The song ends on a chord of extreme musical tension. Here's the chord if you care, but I couldn't find the exact name for it. Theoretically speaking, this chord is unstable. When our ears hear an unstable chord like this, we crave resolution with a more stable chord, especially at the end of a song. Most songs end on a stable chord, but this one ends unresolved, and in such an obvious way that I find it hard to believe that this wasn't intentional. Now, at first glance, I couldn't find much about it. I even resorted to ChatGPT to explain it once, and even AI couldn't get it. So what was it? I just started listening to the album on loop, determined to figure it out, and after the first loop, I immediately know what to search for. It all had to do with circles, literally. After some research, I found that this first track begins with E major. Sparing all the technical details, this is a proper resolution to the unresolved chord at the end of the album. Just take a listen.
Once a day I try, but I can't find a single word.
The first note resolves the last one. It closes the loop. The album Circles is a circle, but it doesn't end there. Because when you listen to the first chord played on swimming's first track, Come Back to Earth, it also resolves this with the chord C major 7, or C-E-G-B. This is essentially the same chord played on Circles, but with an added C. Take one last listen.
Once a day I try, but I can't find a single word. My regrets look just like texts I shouldn't send.
Not only is Circles a circle, but it also circles back to swimming, creating an endless loop of swimming in circles. We don't know if this was intentional, but to me, I think it definitely is. It fits too perfectly with Mac's original concept for me not to believe it is. This was the final tragic stroke of brilliance from the mind of Mac Miller.